Fala, figura! Agora você vai assistir a um podcast em inglês baseado na história do Lucas, um formato criado para treinar o que mais destrava o inglês, listening na prática. Durante esse episódio, você vai ouvir dois apresentadores falando 100% em inglês, com sotaque real, ritmo natural e expressões do dia a dia. As legendas em inglês e em português estão aí para apoiar, mas o foco é ouvir, entender e se acostumar com o idioma do jeito que ele realmente é falado. Aqui não tem aula tradicional, tem história, contexto e repetição inteligente. Você acompanha os desafios do Lucas e, sem perceber, começa a entender inglês com mais fluidez. Agora simples, dá o play, foca no áudio e deixa o inglês entrar. Bora, figura! It's time!
Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome back to the deep dive. We have a really fascinating linguistic mission today, and it's custom tailored for you, our dedicated learner. And it's especially for those of you following the channel that focuses on learning English through stories.
That's right.
Today, we're taking what seems like a simple piece of narrative. I think it's categorized at the A2 level, and we're going to use it almost like a surgical tool.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, to really dissect and master some crucial elements of English. We're talking narrative flow, sensory vocabulary, and the mechanics of time.
That's precisely right. Our deep dive today, it's focused on the story about two friends, Lucas and Sofia, and their meticulously planned day trip in a really vibrant city.
A2 level, you said. So that means the structure is pretty accessible.
It is, but, and this is the key thing, the vocabulary, I mean, if we really pause to examine it, it is so rich and evocative. It often borders on, B1 or even B2 expressiveness.
So our goal is to turn simple reading comprehension into something much deeper.
Exactly. Advanced linguistic analysis. That's what we're aiming for.
And our source material, this story, it details their whole adventure. It starts from this quiet morning and goes all the way to their farewells at twilight. But the real mission here isn't just to understand the plot, what happens. It's to analyze how the writer used the verbs.
Specifically, the past simple and the past continuous?
Exactly, how those two tenses create rhythm, atmosphere, and just compelling storytelling.
Yeah.
I kind of think of the past simple as the skeleton of the story.
God, that's a great way to put it.
It gives you the completed actions, the plot points, but the past continuous.
Yeah.
That's the muscle, the setting.
Yeah.
That's what makes the story feel alive.
I love that. The skeleton and the muscle. You can also think of the simple past as a camera clicking.
Okay.
He stretched, he arrived, they bought. Just a complete instant event, a snapshot.
Done. Finished.
But the continuous past, that's the film running in the background. It was raining, she was waiting, people were opening shutters. That duality is really the engine of English narrative. And we want you to internalize it so deeply that it just becomes natural when you tell your own stories.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And to kick things off, let's put this into practice immediately. The whole story is about the joy of a day trip. So before we even dive into Lucas and Sofia's adventure, I want you to think about your own favorite day trip.
Okay.
Maybe it was, an unexpected detour, a quick visit somewhere you love, or a well-planned itinerary like theirs.
Right.
Now, what three specific completed things did you do? And you have to use the past simple. For example, you might say, I hiked up the mountain, I ate a massive sandwich, I sent a postcard.
Simple, completed action.
Exactly. Take a moment right now, say those sentences out loud in English.
That simple exercise, it really grounds the past simple. It frames it as the verb form of decision and conclusion. It's definitive.
I like that, definitive.
So now that you have that structure in your mind, we can really examine how Lucas and Sofia's story uses it to drive their day forward while, using the continuous aspect to paint the world around them.
All right, let's get into it. Section 1.
The start of the adventure.
The story begins with it's a really poetic opening. It immediately sets this tone of calm anticipation. It says, the adventure began quite early on a calm Saturday morning before the city had fully stirred from its slumber.
Okay, we have to pause on those words right away. The adventure began past simple. That's the starting gun, like you said.
Right.
But we're immediately drawn into the atmosphere with vocabulary. The city had not yet fully stirred. Stirred is such a fantastic, maybe a little formal word here.
It means to move slightly or to wake up,
Yeah,
like you stir your coffee.
exactly. But here it's personification. It's the whole city just beginning to wake.
And the word slumber, I mean, come on. This is a perfect example of where an A2 text
Yeah.
starts to introduce B1, maybe B2 level expressive power.
It really is.
The author could have just said sleep. But slumber, it carries this connotation of deep, peaceful, almost undisturbed rest. It just elevates the description.
So why do you think they did that? Why choose a beautiful, almost literary word like slumber for a text that's meant to be foundational? Doesn't that risk confusing the learner?
That's a fair challenge, but I think
Okay.
this is the difference between just surviving in a language and, well, thriving in it.
Okay.
The author is teaching us that synonym choice really matters. Sleep is functional. Slumber suggests a depth, a duration, something tranquil. It tells the reader right away that this is a peaceful pre-dawn moment.
So we learn that sometimes the most expressive choice is the one that's slightly less common. If you want to convey calm, use slumber.
Right. If you just mean the biological necessity, sleep is fine. And this calm, it's juxtaposed with the sensory detail of Lucas's room. It says, Lucas woke up to the rhythmic sound of raindrops. He stretched his arms, feeling the lingering stiffness of sleep.
Okay, two great words. Rhythmic. It has that steady, predictable beat. And lingering, that's such a key adjective. It describes something that just hangs around, persists long after it should have gone.
Like that stiffness when you first wake up.
Exactly. And this is where we see the first really clear grammatical contrast. Look at what Lucas did versus what was happening around him.
Oh, yeah.
His personal actions are all these sharp, decisive, past simple verbs. He stretched his arms, he walked over to look out the window, and he did not worry in the slightest.
They're sequential. They're completed steps moving him toward his goal.
They're plot movers. They're done, finished.
And that phrase, in the slightest, that's a great little conversational tool for emphasis, isn't it?
It is. It's so much stronger than saying he didn't worry much. It means not even a little bit.
He knew the forecast predicted clear skies. The simple past knew there. It's a state of completed knowledge.
Meanwhile, the entire mood, the whole scene, is being set by the past continuous. It was raining a little, casting a gray hue over the neighborhood.
The action of raining was ongoing. It frames the whole state he's in as he wakes up.
And that word hue, another lovely choice for color, specifically a shade or a tint. It's literally painting the atmosphere for us. The continuous aspect describes the condition he woke up into.
And as he gets ready to leave, the text uses past simple to show completion, but it pairs it with the continuous to show that transition.
Yeah.
By the time he finished his coffee and left his house, the rain was already stopping.
See, finished and left simple, completed actions. Boom, boom.
Right.
But the rain was already stopping. That continuous aspect, it emphasizes that the end of the rain was a process. It was happening right as he was leaving. It wasn't just an instant switch.
So then he starts his journey to meet Sofia. He takes a bus into the city center, which the text immediately calls bustling.
Bustling. One of those essential words for describing city life, isn't it? Full of busy, noisy activity.
It's alive, it's energetic, and it's such a sharp contrast to the slumber he just left behind at home. And the experience on the bus gives us more of that pure, immersive, past continuous action. The bus was moving fast through the wet streets, splashing through small puddles.
That double use of the continuous was moving, splashing. It creates this sense of constant movement and sound. It really makes you feel the rush of the ride.
You can hear it. Splashing is so visual and auditory.
It really is. And he sees it splashing through puddles, those little pools of water left by the rain. If the writer had said the bus moved fast and splashed, it would just sound like two separate short events.
Right, like a list.
Yeah. But using the continuous, it extends that sense of movement through the whole ride.
And as Lucas is looking out the window, the routine of the waking city is described using multiple simultaneous continuous verbs. People were opening the metal shutters of their shops. The city was slowly waking up, shaking off the drowsiness of the night.
We have to pause on the vocabulary there. Shutters, the protective metal covers on storefronts, so central to urban morning life. And drowsiness, the state of being sleepy. And notice how the city is personified twice here.
Oh, yeah.
First, it was shaking off its slumber, and now it's shaking off its drowsiness. The author is really hammering home that theme of transition.
From deep rest to full activity. And this continuous action, this scene setting, it provides this vibrant backdrop for the core motivation of the trip, which is set up in the strong, declarative, simple past.
Oh, here it is.
They had meticulously planned this day trip 2 weeks ago, and nothing was going to spoil it.
Meticulously. This word requires some attention. It means planned with extreme care and precision, down to the smallest detail.
It tells you so much about Lucas and Sofia, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They are not spontaneous people. They are organized.
For sure. And to spoil something means to ruin or destroy the enjoyment of it.
Right.
These are higher level vocabulary choices that convey intent and emotion instantly. If you just say they planned it, it lacks the dedication implied by meticulously.
They are serious adventurers. And so, finally, the moment of connection. Lucas arrived. Simple, completed action. He's at the destination.
And Sofia was waiting, continuous. The state she was in before he arrived, she was near the big, ornate fountain.
The ornate fountain. Not just decorated, but highly, elaborately decorated.
It suggests history, complexity. And the grammar there is just textbook, isn't it? Her action of waiting began before his arrival and continued right up until that moment.
That's the classic function of past continuous, right?
Well,
to describe an action in progress that's interrupted or concluded by a past simple action.
Exactly. They hugged warmly simple and started their walk simple again. The story moves forward.
And just in this one section, we've covered a remarkable range of atmospheric vocabulary, from the quiet slumber to the loud splashing and this organized meticulousness.
It's important now to sort of solidify that transition. So let's make this an interactive prompt. We talked about the city's transition. When Lucas left his house, the city was in deep slumber.
Right.
But when he got to the center, was it still in slumber or was it bustling?
And if you've been following the movement of the story, you should clearly hear that it had become bustling. That movement, that transition from a quiet background, the continuous to active engagement, the simple, is exactly what the writer achieved.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're following along and you're appreciating how we're dissecting this story to really build your fluency, remember to engage with the channel. Liking this deep dive and subscribing, make sure we can keep bringing you this level of detailed analysis.
Okay, so moving into the next section.
Okay.
As the story progresses, the past simple guides where they're going, but the continuous, it fills in the beauty of what they see.
And the sun comes out, which is a crucial turning point. The weather cooperates.
It does. It says, just as they began, the sun came out from behind the retreating clouds.
Came out, simple action, done.
And retreating. That's a great descriptive verb, isn't it? Usually you think of an army retreating.
Yeah, moving away. Here the clouds are giving way, moving back. And the immediate effect is that the sun reflects off the wet pavement and makes the city sparkle.
Pavement, so the sidewalk or walking surface. And sparkle to shine brilliantly. This little atmospheric shift uses the past simple, came out, to describe the moment, but the effect, the sparkling, is ongoing and descriptive.
And then they enter the historic district.
This is where we get all the descriptive architecture, emphasizing, longevity and history. The text says, the streets were narrow, winding, and made of ancient cobblestone that had withstood centuries of footsteps.
Let's break that down. Winding, so not straight, but curving and twisting. It suggests age and charm, not like a modern city grid.
Right. And cobblestone, those rounded stones they used to pave old streets. And the use of the verb withstood is powerful.
It is. It's the past simple of withstand. It means they endured, they resisted, they survived the passage of time. The author isn't just saying the streets were old, they're emphasizing their permanence.
And this permanence, it contrasts with the ephemeral, the ongoing actions of the people in the city. And this leads us to the heart of the structure here, continuous for parallel action. The author uses the word while to maintain two parallel narrative tracks. While they were walking, they admired the old colorful houses.
So their main activity, walking, and their observational activity, admiring, are happening at the same time.
Exactly. And the continuous action of the background then just explodes with detail. Some people were standing on ladders, painting their balconies. Others were diligently cleaning their windows.
Diligently. That's a great adverb of quality. It means carefully, persistently, with hard work. The whole street is just alive with this sustained parallel action.
And this scene is fundamentally different from the waking city we saw earlier. Here, the actions are purposeful, not just routine. Lucas and Sofia are observing a fully engaged world.
And now the flow of that continuous observation is suddenly broken. It's a brief, specific action. This is the moment of interruption. Lucas stopped. Simple for a moment, to tie his shoe simple again, which had come loose.
Loose, so undone, the opposite of tight. And the action of tying a shoe is so brief, so simple and functional. But the writer uses the continuous form to stretch this little moment out just long enough for the key observational event to happen.
Exactly. It says, while he was tying his shoe, kneeling on the stones, Sofia saw a beautiful rustic bakery.
And there it is. The continuous actions was tying, kneeling, create this momentary pause in their forward movement. And that allows Sofia's sharp, instantaneous past simple action saw to occur and totally change their trajectory.
It's masterful storytelling economy, isn't it? The simple action saw is the pivot point for the whole next scene.
It is. And what she sees is rustic. That adjective conveys simplicity, age, a charming old-fashioned quality. Why is rustic a better choice than, say, old or traditional?
Well, rustic implies a natural kind of unpolished charm. It often suggests handmade quality, a connection to older ways of life. You think of wood and stone.
Right. An old bakery might just be run down.
Exactly. A rustic bakery is deliberately charming. It's a positive word that sets your expectations for what's inside.
And the sensory details immediately pull them in. The irresistible smell of fresh bread and vanilla was coming from the open door, wafting through the air.
Let's linger on wafting. That is a perfect descriptive verb. It means floating gently, easily through the air. You often use it for smells or smoke.
It's so much more subtle and evocative than just saying the smell was spreading. It suggests a light, pleasant transport of the aroma.
And that's the word choice we should focus on. Aroma. Why did the author use aroma and not just smell?
Because aroma is generally reserved for pleasant, strong smells, right? Especially ones related to food or coffee or spices.
Where smell is neutral. It can even be negative, a bad smell.
Exactly. By using aroma, the writer makes sure we understand this is an irresistible positive scent. It builds the anticipation.
So they go inside the cozy bakery, and the past continuous is just fully employed to describe the atmosphere. A cheerful baker was taking trays of hot bread out of the large stone oven. Customers were eagerly choosing from a variety of cakes, tarts, and cookies.
Eagerly. Choosing with intense enthusiasm and anticipation. That adverb gives us real insight into the customer's state of mind.
And the items themselves. Tarts. Those small, open-faced pastries. The items were laid out for people to see. The whole bakery is a hive of continuous activity. The baker's work is ongoing, the customer's choosing is ongoing.
And Lucas, executing a simple past action, breaks that continuous observation. He bought a buttery croissant that looked perfectly flaky.
Oh, we have to appreciate the adjectives.
Yeah.
Buttery, rich in butter, decadent, and flaky. It's such a key texture word for pastries. It means it has many thin layers that just easily break apart.
Right. How is flaky different from, say, crisp or crumbly?
Well, crisp is hard and it snaps. Flaky is layered and it separates. A good croissant absolutely has to be flaky.
For sure. So then they ate their warm snacks while they were walking, savoring every bite?
Savoring. That's a sophisticated verb, isn't it? It means enjoying something fully, deliberately, often slowly, to maximize the experience. It's not just eating, it's appreciating the moment.
This combination of vocabulary and structure is our perfect transition to interactive prompt number 3. The story emphasizes they were savoring every bite. So I want you to think about a food that you love to savor. What makes it so special? The taste, the texture, And now let's practice the continuous past. Describe the baker's ongoing action when Lucas made his purchase. Use a full sentence.
You could have structured your answer something like this. The baker was taking trays of hot bread out of the oven. That continuous action describes the backdrop against which Lucas performed his completed action bought.
And that's the mastery of the past continuous right there, providing that vital background context. And this section really highlights something crucial for the learner. You can assume the reader knows what a bakery is, what bread is.
Right. Focus your energy on the expressive adjective.
Exactly. Rustic, flaky, buttery, eagerly. Those are the words that transform an A2 description into a B2 sensory experience.
Okay, so moving on from the treats, they seek out some culture at the city museum.
Yeah.
There's a new art exhibition.
And they waited patiently. Simple pass to get inside. The description of the wait introduces a subtle but critical linguistic nuance, it says. While they were standing in line, moving forward inch by inch, they talked about their families.
Okay, we need to really explore this in detail because why is standing and moving in the continuous, but talked is in the simple past? Talking's clearly a long activity, it feels continuous.
This is what we can call grammar point 4, about telling stories, and it's where the structure gets a little complex. The continuous were standing, moving, that describes the temporary physical state they were in.
Right.
But they talked uses the past simple because it's describing a general sustained activity over a period of time, rather than an action that was in progress and then got interrupted. It frames talking about their families as the typical thing they did during the wait. It's a general narrative summary.
So if they were discussing a single specific point, like an argument they had, the author might have chosen the continuous to frame it. They were discussing what happened last Christmas.
Precisely. But here, talked just encompasses the general activity of conversation during the whole wait. It's about duration versus specificity. And if we move on, we see the classic continuous framework come back when an anecdote is introduced.
Ah, yeah. Sophia was telling Lucas a funny story when the line finally started to move faster.
Was telling clearly frames the anecdote. The story was mid-flow. The continuous aspect places you, the listener, right into that narrative stream.
And the simple past started is the sudden external event that shifts their focus away from the story. Understanding this usage, it lets you manage narrative time so effectively in English, you set up a long action before an interruption.
So inside the museum, they walked slowly. Simple. Footsteps echoing softly. That's an implied continuous setting. And then we get to the moment of acute awkwardness.
Oh, yeah. Lucas was leaning in, reading a small plaque, continuous actions, sustained attention, when a stern guard told him not to touch the protective glass.
Simple, interrupting action.
Let's focus on the vocabulary that builds the tension there. The guard is stern, not just serious, but strict, maybe forbidding, showing no tolerance for mistakes. That one word just elevates the whole confrontation.
It does. And the plaque, the small informational sign. Lucas was immersed, he was showing curiosity, and his attention was immediately broken by the guard's simple, direct command.
And the author uses a very fluid grammatical structure to describe the result. Lucas apologized immediately, his face turning slightly red with embarrassment.
That use of the present participle, turning, is so sophisticated. It connects the apology directly to the descriptive result. His face didn't turn red, then he apologized. It's an immediate, simultaneous effect.
And the emotion is embarrassment. That feeling of public humiliation or awkwardness, so universal, so relatable, especially in a quiet, formal place like a museum.
And this museum incident, it serves as this momentary spike of tension before they relax for lunch. They needed to refuel.
That's a great verb, to get energy, like putting fuel in a car. So they find a place by the river.
And the description of the river here is just a masterclass in scene setting, and it uses only the past continuous. The river was flowing gently, the water glistening under the midday sun. Small boats were passing by, filled with tourists waving at people on the shore.
Everything is just soft, gentle, and moving. Glistening, shining brightly, reflecting light. It suggests a smooth, calm surface.
And shore, the land bordering the river. The sustained continuous action creates this backdrop of total tranquility, which contrasts so sharply with the internal tension they just felt in the museum.
And then the magic happens. While they were eating their pizza, a talented street musician started to play the violin nearby.
Again, there it is. The continuous action we're eating is interrupted by the simple past action started. The musician's action is specific, it's definitive, and it immediately shifts the atmosphere.
And it draws the attention of the passersby. And what were the passersby doing?
Continuous action, of course.
Naturally, people passing by were stopping to listen. The simple action of the music starting caused the continuous action of people pausing and listening.
This is the perfect moment for interactive prompt 4. I want you to step fully into that river scene. Imagine you're sitting there right now.
Okay.
Use at least 2 past continuous verbs to describe the ongoing action around you. Focus on the movement and the light. What was the river doing? What were the tourists doing?
You might have focused on the motion. The river was flowing and the boats were passing. Or maybe you focused on the light. The water was glistening and the tourists were waving. If you chose to describe the setting that way, you are actively learning to use the continuous not just as a grammar rule, but as a real descriptive tool.
And that skill is so critical when you're telling any story in English. And remember, if you're finding this granular level of linguistic detail helpful, take a moment to engage with the channel. We really do rely on your likes and subscriptions to know that these detailed breakdowns are hitting the mark.
All right, section 4. Climbing high and saying goodbye. The afternoon progresses with a visit to the park, a brief moment of natural repose before the final climb.
And the setting is established with these broad, relaxing, continuous actions. Ancient oak trees and vast green lawns. Children were running around shouting happily. Some people were jogging along the paths.
Lawns, large manicured areas of grass. Paths, the walkways. The city has found its rhythm, and it's a peaceful one. Everyone is engaged in these sustained, leisurely activities.
This is a moment of low narrative tension, where the continuous action just defines the atmosphere of relaxation. And here we find our grammar point 5, combining continuous for relaxation.
While they were resting and watching the clouds, a small, energetic dog ran up to them.
The dual continuous verbs, resting and watching, they establish this long, peaceful state.
Which is instantly broken by the dog's simple past action, ran up.
The dog's description is wonderful. The dog was wagging its tail furiously, looking for attention. Furiously, this means with intense, rapid energy. It's an adverb that's almost hyperbolic just to stress the dog's high level of excitement.
Right. It's not angry, it's just immensely active.
For sure. After laughing at the dog, they decide on their final activity, the big physical challenge. Climbing the medieval bell tower for the panoramic view.
Panoramic, meaning a wide, unbroken view of the entire surrounding area.
But this view, it comes with a challenge. It requires significant effort. There were many steep spiral stairs to conquer.
Steep, almost vertical, difficult to climb. And conquer, here it's used figuratively, right? It means to overcome the difficulty. They weren't fighting a battle, they were overcoming a physical obstacle.
And the narrative rhythm immediately shifts back to the continuous to describe that sustained, painful effort. While they were climbing, counting the steps, their legs started to hurt and their breath grew heavy.
The long process, we're climbing, counting. That's the continuous state of effort. But the physical toll is described by these sharp, simple past verbs describing change. Legs started to hurt. Breath grew heavy.
So the struggle was continuous, but the fatigue began and intensified as these specific, completed shifts.
But the view was the reward. And the description from the top is a perfect example of how perspective changes language. The cars looked like tiny toys. The people looked like busy ants scurrying about.
Scurrying? What a magnificent descriptive verb. It means moving quickly with short, rapid steps. It's often used for small animals like mice or insects.
So by using scurrying for the people, the author is subtly reinforcing the scale. From the tower, people lose their individual importance. They become part of this hurried collective.
It's a perspective choice that adds immense color to the description.
They capture the moment. Luca took a photo, simple action. Sofia took a candid photo of Lucas.
And that difference is key. Candid means spontaneous, unplanned, honest. It's captured without the subject posing. It really speaks to the intimacy of their day.
And the final selfie is timed perfectly. They took a smiling selfie together while the sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of gold and violet.
The sun was setting, painting the sky. The continuous aspect provides that slow, majestic, ongoing spectacle of twilight. It's acting as the final, grand backdrop to their simple, completed action, took a selfie.
As the light fades, the story concludes. They walked back, simple action, to the station. Their physical state is described, but it's deliberately contrasted with their mental state. They were walking slowly because they were physically exhausted, their feet aching, but they were also spiritually refreshed.
And that contrast is the entire emotional payoff of the trip, isn't it? Exhausted, extremely, utterly tired, usually physically.
And refreshed, renewed, restored, feeling new energy.
Yeah.
Why do you think the author chose to use these two specific contrasting adjectives?
It's the difference between the physical body and the psychological state. The physical effort, the climbing, the walking, left them exhausted, which is a completed state. But the experience itself left them refreshed.
It elevates the conclusion from just a simple ending to a meaningful reflection.
And these adjectives are actually participles used as adjectives, describing the completed effect of the day.
The day had ended with success. Sofia got on her train, and Lucas waved goodbye. Simple actions. The sequence of the simple past brings the story to its definitive conclusion.
And this rich contrast between physical pain and spiritual gain, it leads us to our final interactive prompt 5. We just discussed how they were physically exhausted but spiritually refreshed.
Right.
So how does English use these two descriptive adjectives to describe a complete state of being? More practically, can you use them both in a sentence about a challenge you faced recently?
For instance, you could say something like, after studying for 12 hours, I was physically exhausted, but after receiving my results, I felt mentally refreshed.
That's a perfect example. It demonstrates real control over these powerful descriptive words.
So this A2 narrative, which on the surface is designed for beginners, is really proven to be a treasure trove of expressive vocabulary and dynamic grammar.
It absolutely has.
It shows that even simple stories can deliver B2 level linguistic insights if you just dive deeply enough.
We've really reinforced the fundamental dynamic that governs nearly all past tense English narrative. The past simple provides the sequential plot points.
Lucas arrived. They stopped, the guard told him.
Exactly. They are the steps on the map.
And the past continuous provides the atmosphere, the environment, and the simultaneous reality.
The baker was taking bread out, the river was flowing, the dog was wagging its tail. This is the world moving around the main characters.
We've also highlighted some genuinely expressive vocabulary that you can incorporate immediately, moving beyond simple definitions to grasp the connotation of words.
Words like slumber, which is poetic sleep, meticulously for careful planning, wafting for the gentle floating of a smell,
stern for serious authority, and scurrying for that busy, hurried movement. Using just a few of these words will instantly add complexity and color to your own English.
So what does this all mean for you, the learner, moving forward? How do we integrate this knowledge?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Okay, here's our final provocative thought for you to consider. Next time you recount an event from your past, a challenge, a day trip, an unexpected change, don't just list the sequence of simple past actions.
Don't just give us the skeleton.
Exactly. Challenge yourself to include a few background details using the past continuous. What was the world doing around you while you completed your main actions? Were you listening to the rain while you wrote an email? Was the sun glistening on the water while you decided to buy a ticket?
That focus on the continuous aspect, it transforms a simple factual recollection into a fully sensory, immersive memory. And that's how you elevate your English from just functional to captivating.
Practice makes perfect, and application is the highest form of learning.
Absolutely. So we encourage you now to subscribe to the channel, like this deep dive, and leave us a comment below. Your challenge is to use one new past continuous sentence from the story, or one of your own, to describe simultaneous action.
For example, While they were eating pizza, the river was flowing gently.
We really look forward to seeing your active participation.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Lucas and Sophia's day trip and the dynamic grammar that brought it all to life.
Until the next language adventure, keep diving deep.
Parabéns, figura! Se você fez tudo certinho, acaba de completar o ciclo de 5 vídeos. História narrada, história linha a linha, vocabulário da história, podcast em português e agora o podcast em inglês. Se você maratonou, posso dizer que o seu inglês já não é mais o mesmo. Se faltou algum desses vídeos, corre no nosso canal. Falou, figura!